Hi everybody, I hope you've been doing well. Welcome to week 14. Once more, I have been delayed in my posting. I have to say this has become a pattern, unfortunately. There is a valid reason though, and perhaps one where I don't feel too guilty, in a sense, posting a bit late. Last week I was attending a 2-day workshop with one of the well-known, renowned senior Iyengar Yoga teachers, Gabriella, and it was truly a very inspiring experience. And what can I say? It has made me focus on learning more, practicing more, and definitely becoming more conscious of how I teach. And hopefully, as I grow as a teacher over the years, I too can gain the wisdom that I see so clearly expressed in the teachers that stand before us. And there's a quote that I'd like to begin with before we start our sequence. And this is a quote from Gitaji, and I thought it was particularly interesting and something to think about. Whenever we find stiffness in the body, our mind should be especially supple. It is never the stiffness in our bodies that limits our practice, it's always the stiffness of our mind. I leave this quotation with you to contemplate. I'll perhaps share one or two things that I feel when I read this. That is, when we encounter, say, stiffness in the body, so in a way, stiffness could be a limitation. And then our mind has to be very supple and adaptive when we encounter a limitation. Meaning, it's very similar to life when we encounter a stiffness in a body, meaning we cannot do what we want to do. Perhaps I want to really touch my toes and I have the stiffness in my body. So the option there for us is, if I have a supple mind and I'm willing to work and I'm putting the effort, then I have a chance to change the stiffness in my body. However, if I have a rigid mind where I say, oh, that's just how I am, it's never going to change, or if a new teacher suggests a different way of doing it, it's like, no, this hurts, this is not how I like to do it, and I've done it in another way. So all these kind of rigid ways of being expresses a stiff mind. So to change something, what is and then that becomes a limitation, meaning I cannot progress anymore because I have a very stiff mind which is not adaptable, not open to change, not neuroplastic in a way. And we all know, I mean, this is something perhaps yogis knew for a long time, and now modern science is beginning to say how plastic our brain is, and by doing different behaviors and thinking differently, we can definitely change the way we approach things. Our brain patterns can change. So on that note, let us practice, and if you ever encounter any stiffness in your body, just remember, all you have to do is become very supple in your mind, and over time that stiffness in your body will no more be a limitation. I think that's enough talk. Let us begin. So sit comfortably. Bring your hands close to the sides of the support that you're seated on. Remember to sit high enough so that you're able to lift the sacrum. The groin should be open and soft. The navel band should be lifting up and away and not dropping down and collapsing. So use the height that's necessary to create this clarity of space here. Then press your fingertips down, lift the sides of the waistline, spread your collarbones, bring your upper arms closer towards the body, take your outer shoulder blades more back, opening the front of the chest, draw the shoulders down the back, moving the shoulder blades in, lifting from the base of the spine, And then let's bring the palms of the hand at the center of the chest. Close your eyes, and as always, we begin with 3 Oms. So take a long, slow, deep inhalation. Yogena citasya padena vacham malam sharirasya chavaidakenam yopakarotam pravaram muninam Patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi abahu purushakaram shankachakra siddharinam Sahasra shirasam shvetam pranamami patanjalim Harihi Om. Take another deep, slow, long inhalation and exhalation. Gently lower your head down. Release the hands, place them back on your legs, softly opening your eyes. Lift your head up. And let us begin. So we start as always in Samasthiti. So I've already kept 2 blocks close by. That's what I was sitting on. So I'm going to place these blocks close to the side. So stand on the center of your mat. Spread the bottom of your feet. Take your attention to the bottom of the feet. Join your big toes. Shift the weight back to the heels. Focus your attention right here on the base of your shin bone, moving it back so it goes more back and it presses down into the heel. Also take your attention to the sides of your thighs, the outer hip region. Bring the outer thighs in closer, and at the same time take your attention to the inner legs, moving the inner thighs back and creating this circular action with the back of the legs. Now pause here again, go back to the top of your ankle, just the base of your shin bone, moving that back, getting the outer thighs in, spreading from the inner thighs to the outer thighs. Extend the fingers down all the way from the top of the shoulders. Take your outer shoulder blades back, stretch your elbows, straighten your knees, stand tall in Samasthiti. Utthita Trikonasana, our second asana. Bring your hands in the center of the chest, bend your knees, jump and spread your legs out, stretch the arms from the center of the chest, stamp the outer edges of your feet. Turn your right leg out completely, turn your left toes slightly in but not too much. Remember to keep the outer edge of your left foot firm, left thigh back with a deep inhale, lengthening the right side of your body, extend the whole waistline down, chest down, go down to Trikonasana. See that your right leg is straight, your left thigh is back, the top of your ankle or the base of your left shin bone is moving back. Use your left upper arm to lift the chest up, extend all the way up to the fingers. Now maintaining the lift and length of your spine, inhale and come up. Turn your right foot in. Turn your left leg completely out, the whole knee, the foot, the toes have to turn. Stamp the outer edges of your right heel. Keep your right frontal thigh bone back, maintaining that as a root. Lengthen the whole left side of your body as you go down. Place your left hand firmly on your shin bone. Grip the leg. Roll the shoulders back, making sure your left shoulder blade stays into the back. Lift the entire right side of the chest up, extend all the way to the fingers. Look straight, lengthen both sides of your torso and keep the weight heavy on the outside of your right heel. Now use the top right upper arm, inhale and come up. Turn your toes in, jump, and come back to standing. Once more, joining your big toes. Bring your outer hips in, lift the inner armpits, bring the back armpit forward, roll the inner upper arms, and extend the wrists down, the fingers down alongside the body. Once more, bring your hands in the center of the chest, bend your knees, jump and spread your legs out to Utthita Padasana. Stretch your arms from the center of the chest, Parsvakonasana, or rather Utthita Parsvakonasana. Turn your right leg out again, turn your left foot in slightly, stamp the outer edge of your left heel, keeping your left thigh back, lifting the sides of the chest. Take a deep inhale, and with an exhalation, go down, bending your front leg to a 90-degree ankle. Keeping your left leg straight, elongate the whole right side of your body, go down as far as you can, adjust your hand on the block or on the floor, bring your left hand on your hip, turn from the right side of the abdomen to the left, turn from the right side of the chest to the left. See that your right knee goes to the arm, but bring the right side of the chest forward. Stamp the outer edge of your left heel and then stretch your left arm across. As you stretch your arm, extend all the way to the fingertips and keep the turning of the chest. Don't let the chest collapse, moving the right knee into the right upper arm and elongating and turning your whole chest up in the direction of your left shoulder. Now use the top arm. Let's lift it up into Trikonasana. Inhale and come up. Let's keep the hands up. Turn your toes in. I'm just resetting my feet so they are exactly in the same line. Continue spreading from the center of the chest. Turn your left leg out completely. Press the outside of your right heel. Keep your right thigh bone back. Tighten your right thigh. Keep your left leg firm and extending from the hips, extending the whole left side of your body as you go down. Sorry, I need to go up again. I kind of did that not in the right way. So lift the sides of the chest. Begin to bend your left leg. As you begin to bend your left knee, go down with the front leg 90 degree and then extend the whole left side of your body down. Place the arm in line with your shoulder, your block. Again, pressing into the block, see that your left knee goes in the direction of the left upper arm, but from the left side of the chest. Revolve the side of the chest, elongate the left side of your body and reach your right arm up. Stretch from the right waistline all the way to the fingers. Revolve from the left to the right. Keep your right inner thigh lifting, right thigh firm, lengthening the right side of the body, looking forward. Now use the top arm, stretch up into Trikonasana, press into the heels, inhale and come up. Turn your toes in, jump and walk your legs back, coming back into Samasthiti. Next we go for Virabhadrasana 1. So I'm just going to shift the blocks out a little bit to the side so they are not in my way. Okay, so stand. I hope you remember the names of these poses by now and are getting more and more confident, at least in knowing some of the standing poses, because the standing poses started right at the beginning, so you should be more or less quite familiar with them by now. So let's come into Virabhadrasana 1. Bend your knees, jump and spread your legs out. Now we are going to rotate our upper arms, bringing the back armpit forward and lifting the front armpit up, and you maintain this kind of rotation of the upper arms as you lift and stretch your arms up. See if you can take your upper arms back, moving the shoulder blades in, make your elbows straight. Now please turn yourself to the right side. So turn your entire right leg out, turn your left toes in, press the outer edges of the heel and stamping the heel, not losing that left heel, begin to turn from the back of your left thigh, turn the chest, turn the waistline, extend up through the arms. Now maintaining the back leg firm, begin to bend your front knee. As you bend your front knee to a 90-degree angle, which you want to do that, and then remember to lift your pelvis up. Continue turning from your left shoulder to the right and maintain the dorsal spine in. Take your arms back. Now use the arms. Inhale and come up. Turn yourself to face forward. Turn your toes in. Let's turn our left foot out to 90. Our right toes, of course, need to turn a little bit more in. However, keep the right outer edge of your heel firm. Be firm on that heel as you begin to turn from the right side of your waistline to the left. Turn from the right side of your chest to the left. Keep rolling the inner upper arms and begin to bend your front leg. Your left leg comes down. Your front leg is at a 90-degree angle. Press your left heel, but keep your right thigh firm and lifting, revolving from the back of your right thigh. Reach up, stretch up, take your upper arms back, move the dorsal in, extend upward. Now use the arms, inhale and come up. Turn yourself to face forward, turn your toes in, arms out to the side, jump, come back to standing in Samasthiti. Virabhadrasana 3. So let's start with the pose first on the right side. I am going to turn my back to you so that way I don't end up crashing into the wall, and also it's a good way to see both views. So we're going to start with Virabhadrasana 3 on the right side. So bring your hands in the center, bend your knees, jump and spread your legs out. Extend the arms from the center of the chest. Now turn your right leg out, turn your left foot in. Keep the weight heavy on the heels. Lift and stretch your arms up. In Virabhadrasana 3, the arms also play a big role. As you bend your front leg, keep the arms firm, especially the elbow joint lifting as you go forward. So even if I'm going forward, I'm not dropping my arms below the line of my head. I'm keeping them in line with my shoulders. Then I bring the back leg closer as I lower my chest down, resisting the upper arms. Then as I lift my back leg up, I can stay in this position. Now stretch the back leg, roll the back left inner thigh to the outer thigh, tighten the back of your knee and stretch through the arms. Be heavy on the right heel, tight right thigh. Now to come up, bend your front leg, reach with the back leg, come back to Virabhadrasana 1. Inhale, turn yourself around, bring your hands down, jump and come back. Okay. Now we go for Virabhadrasana 3 on the left side. Settle yourself down. Standing balancing poses can be tiring, and it's a good idea to occasionally pause, come back to Samasthiti so that you can do the other side with clarity. Again, in yoga, it's not about rushing, it's about really being aware of each movement, taking your time with things. Bring your hands in the center, bend your knees, jump and spread your legs out. With an inhalation, lift and stretch your arms. Roll from the inner upper arm, lift the arms, stretch up, turning yourself to the left. So we turn the left leg out, turn your right toes in, start to revolve the pelvis, the chest, bend your front leg, and then from here we are going to move to Virabhadrasana 3. So reach your arms forward. You can even stay here in this pose if you're unable to balance. Bring your back leg closer. Remember, your upper arms stay in line with your ears. As the upper arms lengthen, maintain the elongation, lift the back leg up. Keep a rotation so that the right inner thigh rolls from the inside to the outside.
and it's tight as you extend. Be heavy on your left heel as you stretch your upper arms long. Look forward. And then bring the back leg down. Come down to Virabhadrasana 1. Inhale. Come up. Turn your toes in. And jump. And come back to standing. Pause here for a few moments. Observing the breath. Normal soft inhale and exhale. Next, we are going to do Ardha Chandrasana, and here too I am going to show you the back view so that you can understand how the buttocks work, the back appears for the right side, and then we do the left side facing each other. Okay, so I'm turning around, so stand with your feet together, bring your hands in the center, bend your knees, jump and spread your legs out. Now turn your right knee, right thigh, right foot out. Turn your left toes in. Keep the back leg firm. Go down to Trikonasana first. And even when you're in Trikonasana, see that your right waistline is long, right buttock is moving towards your left heel. Even when you bend down to Parsvakonasana, keep the weight heavy on the back leg. Now we have to transition. So bring your left leg closer. Walk your right hand further forward, placing it underneath the shoulders. Keep moving from your left inner knee to the outer knee and move the left buttock in. Maintaining that, begin to lift your top leg up. When you're in the pose, you have to see that you're not falling forward but more balanced on your right heel. You have to extend the sacrum in the direction of your left leg and really stretch your left inner leg. To lift the top hip, you have to work from the back of your left thigh, gripping it, and then turning the hip up. Keep extending through the arms and the legs. Extend your left inner knee, inner ankle. Now to come down with control, bend your front leg, throw the leg back, Parsvakonasana, Trikonasana, and back. So I'm going to jump, come back to the center, and we do the left side. So standing tall, bringing your feet together in Samasthiti, connecting the bottom of the feet, bring your hands in the center, bend your knees, jump and spread your legs out, extend the arms from the center of the chest. Now turn your left leg out completely, turn your right toes in, take a deep inhale, exhalation, down through Trikonasana. After you're in Trikonasana, Utthita Parsvakonasana, halfway space, and then bringing the leg forward, walking the hands forward, shifting the hip so that it's over the knee. As you begin to lift your back leg, then the leg starts to extend. So you have to see that the back of your right thigh is rotating and you're extending the right leg. Be heavy on the left heel and turn the abdomen, turn the chest. It's from the solid connection of the hips that we can stretch our right inner leg longer and longer. Look straight, chest facing forward. And now throw that back leg, land back into Parsvakonasana, Trikonasana, and then up. Turn your toes in, jump, and come back to standing. Once more, joining your big toes, lifting the inner armpit chest up, spreading your collarbones, drawing the shoulder blades down the back. So we did 2 balancing poses, and now we are going to go for Parivrttta Trikonasana. So once more, I'm going to turn my back to you, so that way you see both the views, and perhaps it's a good method since I have this wall, though in Parivrttta Trikonasana that doesn't matter because I really don't have to move. But anyway, let's just do it that way. So I'm going to turn my back to you. Stand with your feet together, bring your hands in the center, bend your knees, jump and spread your legs out. Again, we start by turning our right knee, right thigh, right foot out. Turn your left toes slightly in. Start to revolve your chest, revolve your hips. As you revolve, you take your left hand down. And again, you know you can place your hand on the block. So if it's your hand doesn't touch, you place it on the block. Or you bring your hand on the outside on the block. Or if you're able to place it on the floor, right? However, let's do this again because I want to show you how to get your hips more level. So you keep the block ready for yourself, stretch your arm. Now turn your left foot slightly in, press the outer edge of the left heel. See that that doesn't move, but you want to start by turning from the back of your left inner thigh. So rotating the back inner thigh, I revolve my hip, I turn my right knee, right thigh out. Be strong on the back leg, and yet from the left waistline, go forward, and as you go forward, you're turning already. You see, I'm turning already, and then I adjust my block so I can place it, and I have to press my hand down and turn from the waistline, turn from the chest, and reach the arm up. The hip has a tendency to go out, so I have to work from the back leg. Move this inner thigh back, draw the right outer thigh back into the body, maintaining the level pelvis. That's how you can turn your abdomen, turn your chest. The left side of the body has to go down. The right side of the body has to lift up. And if your hand is not able to go up, use the hands to make your ribs rotate. Then you can reach your top arm up, if that's okay. But if your shoulder is facing forward and you tend to have tighter ribs, it's okay to work here and revolve slowly with patience. Remember this whole concept of the stiff body. Often it can show itself a little bit in these more complex poses. Now inhale and come up. I turn around and then we can do the left side. Spreading our legs in Utthita Padasana. Spread your arms from the center of the chest. Turn your, so now, sorry, we are going to the left. I'm having one of those right-left moments today anyway. So stretch your arms out to the side. Now turn your left knee, left thigh, left foot out completely. Turn your right toes in. See that the right heel is firm. Begin to turn your waistline, turn your chest. The hip, right thigh doesn't come along. You have to create this as a root, and then you have to stretch your whole right waistline and keep turning it from the right to the left. Yeah, this is how we are going lightly into Parivrttta Trikonasana. The right hip stays back, the left hip stays in, and then you can turn from the abdomen, turn from the chest. These spinal muscles have to move away from the spine, and the front of the chest has to learn to lift up, and then you lift your top arm up. If you find that your back is rounding, please adjust the height of the block so that you can create the space to lift up. Look forward and lift with the top arm. Be firm on the back leg. Draw that left outer hip in. Now bring your hand down, look forward, reach with the front arm. With stability, come up. And also when we start, and this is, since it's a beginner sequence and maybe you're someone who's just come in and you're just following the poses along, Parivrttta Trikonasana is a difficult pose. It takes time. And so just be patient with yourself and just work through it, and slowly over the years you will find more clarity in the pose. So let's jump and bring ourselves back and pause here for a moment, bringing our big toes close together, standing firmly, pressing the bottom of the feet down, lifting the armpits, spreading the collarbones and extending the upper arms long, extending the fingers down. Next, we are going to do Vimanasana. And so it's very similar to Virabhadrasana 1, as we know, except the arm action is different. So let's bring the hands in the center of the chest, bend the knees, spread your arms, stretch from the center of the chest, turning your right knee, right thigh, right foot out, turn your left toes in, be firm on the back leg. By now you know about keeping the outer thighs really firm, so it holds your hip in place. Maintain that as you turn your chest, and once you've turned your chest, now bend your front leg. As you bend your front leg to a 90 degree, so sometimes the distance might not be right, you go down and revolve from the back ribs, a little bit similar to the Parivrttta. From the center of the spine, you're moving the ribs away as you bring your left upper arm close in front, and the right goes back and down from the hips. Now inhale and come up, spin the chest, turn your toes in, and let's do the other side. So turn your left leg out completely, turn your right toes more in, be firm on the back leg, keep the thigh turning, chest turning, maintaining the rotation of the inner upper arms, maintaining the weight on the back leg. Begin to bend your front leg. Again, the front leg is a 90-degree angle. Don't throw your lumbar forward. Remember, your pubic bone has to continue to lift upward as you revolve the chest, the back leg firm. Now press into the heel, inhale and come up, turn your chest, turn your toes, jump, and come back to standing. Well, that was quite a few standing poses, and even if you've come so far, well, I'm sure that's some part of the practice that you've done already. Now we move on to the second phase of the practice, but first let us do Uttanasana. So stand with your feet hip distance apart. Keep the bottom of your shin bone back, so you're more heavy on the heel. Continue rotating from the back inner thigh to the outer thigh. Draw the frontal thighs up into the hip and lifting the chest, looking straight, go forward from the pelvis. Take blocks if you need them. At first, start with the back in a concave position. That means my hands are firm, flat on the floor. Rotate your upper arms, draw the shoulder blades into the back, stretch from the base of the sternum to the top, look forward. You may stay here, or if you're able to, without throwing the bottom back, lengthen the abdomen going down. As you go down, you have to keep moving the thigh back and the abdomen away from the frontal thigh bone as you go down. Use your hands in such a way so that it spreads the back, elongates the torso. Allow your body weight to slightly fall forward, but remember to keep your frontal thighs back. If you can hold your ankles, spread the spinal muscles, let the crown of your head drop, lift the shoulder blades into the back, and keep your legs firm, thighs tight, knees drawn up. Uttanasana. Now slowly from here, begin to first come up into the concave back position. Keep your legs firm, chin forward, bring your hands on the hip, keep moving the sitting bones down towards the heels, keeping the legs firm. With an inhalation, come up into standing. Prasarita Padottanasana. So standing on the center of the mat, bring your hands in the center again, bend your knees, jump and spread your legs out, have the toes pointing straight, stretch your arms out. See that your thighs are pulling up, lift the inner ankles, lift the inner knees. Also see that your inner knee is going a little bit to the outer knee and drawing the frontal thighs up, keeping the outer hips firm.
Chin up, chest up. Let's go with the arms extending, and then bring your hands directly underneath the shoulders. Again, you may stay here. The key thing is to keep the legs straight, thighs pulled up, and extending the spine. If you're able to, then you walk your hands more back. You can spread the palms, pressing the palms, and again, the hands are underneath your shoulders, and then they slowly move back in line with your feet. Do not bring your hands forward. So I just want to be clear in how you bend your elbows. You begin to bend your elbows, making the elbows point back, and as you do that, you can go forward with the whole spine, letting the crown of the head drop. Again, I walk my hands back. The distance between the hands is the same as the distance as my shoulders. However, I have to see that my elbows don't go out, so I have to bring my outer elbows in. Learn to pull the elbows back into the shoulders so that the shoulders can lift my shoulder blades away from my neck. Let the crown of the head go down, but keep lifting the shoulders away from the neck. Move the shoulder blades in, and as you fall down, again, reinforce the pattern of your arms, pressing the hands into the surface, elbows in meaning towards each other, elbows moving towards your shoulders, and the upper arm that helps you to lift the shoulders away from the ears. Keep your legs firm, press the outer edges of the heel, breathe softly, keep the front of the body long. Knees firm. Now slowly begin to lift your head up. Walk your hands forward, press the hands firm. Walk your feet closer. Bring your hands on the pelvis, stamping into the outer edges of the heels. Inhale and come up. And then walk your legs back and come back into Samasthiti. Okay, so now we go for Adho, Mukha, Svanasana. So come to the top of your mat. Reach your arms forward. Let's go from Uttanasana. Lengthen the torso, keep reaching the arms forward. If you need to bend your knees to place your hands, you may place your hands. From here itself, I spread the fingers well. See that the weight is more on the index finger and the thumb side of the palm. And then take a big distance, walking your legs back. As you walk your legs back, again, press the palms of the hand, lift your bottom elbow, lift your upper arms, roll from the inner upper arm to the outer upper arm, maintaining the strength of your arms. Move the shoulder blades into the back. As you press your hands down, you have to move your pelvis back. And as you move your pelvis back, outer hips in, spread the back of your thighs, draw the thighs up into the hip, and extend your heels down. Adho Mukha Svanasana is strong work of the legs. You have to keep drawing the thighs up to the hip socket and keeping this space so that the pelvis keeps going back and the abdomen is soft. The inner thighs are moving back. The knees are pulling up. And finally, you can stretch from the calf muscle to the heel. Again, it's not important that your heels touch. What's important is that you're extending your spine and using the strength of your legs. Now from here, we are going to use the strength of our legs, again tightening our thigh muscles, coming up onto the ball mount of your feet. Roll your hips forward, again keeping the legs very firm, drawing the buttocks into the body as you lower down. Now move the chest forward, shoulders back, roll the inner upper arms, triceps firm, and coming into Urdhva, Mukha Svanasana. Knees tight, again spread the back of your thighs from the inside to the outside. Lift your inner knees, stretch your calf muscle. Buttocks in, dorsal in. Now again, press the palms of the hand and come up to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Now look forward and walk forward and come up.
Okay, so now we did Adho Mukha Svanasana, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, and now we are going to come down to Dandasana. So please sit on the floor or take whatever height you need. The legs are straight. The action of the legs in Iyengar Yoga is very important. We have to really learn to engage our thighs, make our legs strong, all aspects of the legs. So as you're sitting in Dandasana, you work on moving the outer thighs in, stretch your legs long, extend them, keep extending the inner leg, move the top of this thigh area, this part just above the knee down, really opening the back of the legs. Relax your feet, don't be hard on your feet, but keep extending your leg bones long, pressing the hips down in the surface of the floor, and that's what helps you to lift the sacrum up, lift the kidneys up as you place your hands, pressing the hands back, and it's the lift, and then that lifts the chest up, sternum up as you look forward, keeping the outer shoulders back, head back. But it's the back ribs that move into the body. Keep extending your legs, press the frontal thighs down, lifting from the sacrum. Dandasana. Now we've already set up ourselves in this position. So it's a question of moving from here into Navasana. So again, we have to draw the thighs in, lift the chest, stretch our arms, coming into Navasana. And then slowly bring your legs down, back to Dandasana. Let's try that again. And as you know, in the previous week, I did a variation with the knees bent. So you can also stay here. Yeah, so you can also stay here. And if you feel you're able to straighten your legs, continue to look forward, stretching your legs long. That's why in Dandasana, we work on extending our legs and stretching our arms. And now maintain the extension as you lower your legs down. Whew, that was hard, talking and doing the pose. But but it also makes our spine very strong and our legs very strong. So that was Paripurna Navasana. Now we are going to go for Parvottasana in Virasana. So I'm just going to use a block for Virasana. I'll show you the side view for one side. So I place the block in between my feet. So my feet stay on either side of the block and then I sit down. Also in terms of the tops of the feet, see that your ankles are not going out in this way. It's important that you kind of lift your knees up, make the shin bones long, bring the outer heels close and stretch the tops of the feet, press this down. If you're unable to press this down, you need to sit higher so that the shin bones are well grounded in this position. Now pressing the tops of the feet down, Parvottasana in sitting in Virasana. So stretch your arms forward, right thumb comes on top of the left, interlace the hands, turning the palms out, keep the upper arms firm, and again here you have to lift your sacrum, move the back ribs in, move the dorsal in as you reach your arms up. As you reach your arms up, rolling from the inner upper arm to the outer upper arm, moving the upper arms back, drawing the dorsal in, at the same time keeping your sitting bones down. Don't throw your lumbar forward like this. Yeah, this is not right. Your abdomen has to stay down, your sitting bone has to stay down, but you have to lift up from the spine. Press the tops of your feet onto the mat. Now bring your hands down. Now I turn around to show you the different view. So you can also see the front view, but you don't have to turn. You can continue to sit, take a breath as we change the clasp of our hands. So here as well, as I'm seated, my knees are pointing straight. I've got the tops of the shins pressing down. I have my outer hips down, so my abdomen can lift with ease. Stretch your hands straight in front of you. Take your left thumb on top of the right. Interlace your hands once more. As we clasp the hands, keep the fingers touching. Try to stretch the base of the palm. Really trying to stretch the palm is sometimes tricky. Our palm can be quite closed, and it's actually because of the shoulders. So as we learn to stretch the palms of the hand, the shoulders open as well, and with an inhalation, go ahead and stretch your arms up. Roll from the inner shoulders to the outer shoulders, elbows tight, lift the side chest, lengthen the whole sides of the waistline, moving the dorsal in and lifting the whole spine up. Press the tops of the feet down to really root yourself. And now slowly release and bring your hands down. Now we are going to do Supta Virasana. So Supta Virasana might not be possible for a lot of you, especially if you have knees bent, but anyway, you may see the pose, and if it's possible then you do it, but there are a few key things that you must do. So I'm going to do the pose first with a little bit of support and then free. So the pose with a little support would be, I'm going to get a bolster, so just pause the video and I will get a few props. Okay, so I got myself a bolster for showing you Supta Virasana. So there are a few ways to do it. Say the minimum height, I keep my bolster here. If you can sit on the floor, I'm showing you from two ways, but let's start with supposing you are someone who can sit on the floor. So you need to take your feet apart, grab the calf muscle, really roll the calf muscle out to the side, creating space on the knee, and then you sit down on the floor. So the feet are on the outside of the hips. Now here, this is the sacrum area, so you can bring your bolster close enough, but when you're going down, you have to see that the sacrum is not lifting up. It's extending towards the buttocks. So I lift myself slightly, making the sacrum extend towards the buttocks, and then I slowly, lifting my chest up, lay down. And then you can reach your arms. So as you reach your arms, somehow the contrast of the black and the short should make you understand everything from the abdomen has to go up, but at the same time everything from the back of the body, that includes from the sacrum, buttocks, have to go towards the back of the knees. And then you can stay here for a while. In Supta Virasana, you can hold on to your elbows, letting your head rest. So the action is the buttocks, the top of the buttocks go towards the middle of the buttocks, and the buttocks move in the back direction of the back of the knees. This creates a stretch on the front hip flexors, the quadricep muscle, but the back of the thighs gets connected, contracted, and that's always the case. One muscle has to contract for the other one to stretch. And then you can take your arms out to the side and you can just be there quiet for a few moments. Now Supta Virasana is a good pose after having done many standing poses, because it makes our legs tired and also contracts the quadricep muscle, and here you're getting to do the opposite action of stretching them out. So Supta Virasana is often done as a kind of intermediate resting pose, and it's good to open the front hip flexors. So you may stay quiet here, keeping the bolster as your support. Be there for a few moments, extending the sacrum, extending the tailbone in the direction of the back of the knees, but lifting from the front hips, abdomen, chest, going all the way up to the top of the shoulders. Breathe softly and be quiet in the pose, Supta Virasana. Now to come up, first you can place your hands on the tops of the feet. You can use your arms, your elbows, use it to slowly come up into seated position. And usually when we have our legs in this position, it can cut off a little bit of your blood circulation. So it's a good idea to first stretch your legs out in Dandasana before you continue with the rest of your practice. So just be in Dandasana, letting the circulation return, let the muscles become more relaxed, and be here pausing for a few moments, giving your leg a relief. Okay, so from that position we are going to move on to
Baddhakonasana. I will keep the bolster because it's a good height in terms of doing Baddhakonasana. Of course, you can sit on the floor, but most of us could do with a little bit of height. So you can sit on the bolster. Baddhakonasana is a butterfly pose, often as it's called, but it is bound angle pose. Baddha means bound, and Konasana is triangle. So, a kind of angle, not triangle, sorry. Trikonasana would be triangle. Kona means any angle. So, it's a angle, the angle of the knee, and Baddha because the feet are bound together. So, have the soles of your feet touch, moving the heels as close to your groin as possible. As you're sitting higher on the support, you can press your hands into it so that you can use the hands to move the pelvis more forward. The outer thighs and the shins have to be close. There's a resistance in the shins, so you're not dropping your ankles really, you're keeping them in, and then elongate the thigh bones out in every direction so you can open the hips. And usually there's a lot of tightness. Sometimes we can have one hip is a little bit tighter or one hip is loose, and so it's a good thing to always sit in a little bit of height so you can have the outer hips firm and you can learn to lift the abdomen up, chest up, away from the pelvis. And these are poses to be done regularly to make sure your hips stay more open. Sternum up, chest up. Baddhakonasana. Now from Baddhakonasana, we are going to go to Upavista Konasana. If you're on the stiffer side, it is better that you sit higher. I'm going to show both actually. So if you need height, then keep your bolster a little off the mat so that when you do spread your legs, the heels end up on the mat. That gives you a much better grip in terms of your heels, and it's easier to straighten your legs. So the feet, the legs spread out in Upavista Konasana. Same thing, see that your knees are not rolling out or rolling in. You want to be on the center of the heel, drawing the thighs into the hip, stretching from the calf muscle to the heel. Relax your feet, but firmly press the frontal thighs down and lift the front pelvis up. So you need to sit high enough to see that if you're leaning back like this, that means you don't have the connection. So you need to sit high. If you're able to maintain the lift of your pelvis, then you can sit on the floor. The advantage of sitting on the floor is that you have a feedback loop. That means when I press my thighs down, I can feel the floor. So sometimes we practice both. So sometimes you can use something behind you and work on pressing the back of the thighs down, trying to open the back of the knees. Usually most of us are quite tight here, and it's about really learning to extend our leg bones, making them straighter and straighter. And again, this happens through practice. There was a time when I started to practice and my knees were like high, or they wouldn't really go down, whatever I tried. But then as you keep practicing, the whole body changes, and that's just how it is. It's a question of repeated, consistent effort. Again, we stay in these poses for a little bit longer. I am just doing a video, so we're not going into timing. I know somebody did ask in one of the videos, what about timing? But this is a sequence of learning Iyengar Yoga practice. And so when we are in the process of learning, we are just learning the poses, how to do them. And then you also have that downloadable PDF. So it's a question of you going around and doing the practice. Also, when you're a beginner, we don't hold the poses long, because we are barely learning them. So just to learn them, just to do the right movement, to understand which arm goes where, is already a lot of work. It is only after we practice for many years that we start holding the poses. So the system of Iyengar Yoga is quite different from many other forms of yoga, where emphasis is given on different aspects like breath or holding or duration of the poses. So at first, since we are in this practice session, we are just simply learning the poses, the names of the pose, how to do them, how to go into them, how to come out of them. And that is what this video sequence, series of videos is all about. Okay, so next we are going to do Bharadvajasana. This is also one of our seated twists. Also a little bit more clarification that I understood a little bit better about this pose after I attended this weekend workshop. So I'm going to do my best to explain the pose a bit better to you, and some small key points which make a difference. So once again, I'm going to use the bolster to sit on simply because it gives better height. And when we first do the pose, it's always good to sit in Dandasana. We take our legs over to the left side. So I'm going to shift myself over to the left edge of the bolster, but my sitting bones are still on the bolster. And that's because I want my hips to be level. Then I move my feet over to the left side, and do note that the left foot rests on top of the arch of your right foot. So the left ankle, so it's around here that you try and press it. Now of course we might have our hips tilted in different ways. So you have to adjust by bringing your left hip more in so that you can see for yourself that you're able to press the top of your left foot down, your knees are pointing straight and your hips are level. You can keep your knees closed or just pointing straight in line. Then we take the left arm up and we grab the outside of our knee or any portion of your leg that you can hold. And here I'm also going to get a block because I need the block for my hand behind it. So as I take my arm down, you have to descend your left thigh down. Left outer hip has to stay down. Don't lift it up and go over to this side. So left outer hip has to stay down. Right inner thigh has to stay down. So these inner and outer has to stay down as you start to revolve your chest. Now another key point here is we can be a bit like this. This means my chest is collapsing. You can see how the back of the body and my arm is in front, right? So that means the back is rib cage is out. In Bharadvajasana, we are teaching our ribs to move into the body. So as I press my outer left hip down, lift your left waistline up, draw the left shoulder down, move the left shoulder blade in. Now you can see there's a difference. My chest is ahead of my upper arm. My arm can even bend. And then I start to revolve the chest. So the chest comes forward. I can use the hand at the back on the block, the hand at the back placed on the block. I try to bring my right shoulder blade in, moving to the center. So I'm not leaning back, and then revolve the chest. At the same time, keep your left hip down. Now come back to the center, straighten your legs, be in Dandasana for a short while, adjust your blocks, take it to the other side. Now shift over to the opposite side. Now bend your legs over to your right side. This time your right ankle rests on the arch of your right foot. Roll the calf muscle out, draw the hips in, see that your knees are pointing straight and your pelvis is level. Yeah, so your pelvis has to be level, your knees pointing straight, and you press the tops of the shin down. Once your hips are level, and your knees are in line, you're going to press the top of your right ankle down, lift the right waistline. Take your right arm and grab the outside of your left knee. Push the knee down, but against that lift up, so you get a kind of leverage action. I place my hand on the block so that I'm able to move my left shoulder back. Again with the grip, I descend my right outer hip down, I lift my right waistline out, right shoulder stays back, but the right shoulder blade moves into the back. Then I try to turn from the right side of the chest to the left, and I also make sure that my left rib cage doesn't go towards the wall. The block at the back helps me to bring my left ribs into the midline and revolve the right side of the chest. Use your hands as a leverage to turn the abdomen, turn the chest, and go back and make your right hip level and pressing down. Now come back to the center, and once more straighten your legs in Dandasana. So that was Bharadvajasana 1. Now we have prepared our back, our ribs, and we go for Salamba Sirsasana. So I'm going to move the bolster away and do the pose from the center of the room. Again, you can do just a variation. I'll use another blanket actually. Okay, so Salamba Sirsasana, I like to use a folded sticky mat for my head, and also the sticky mat helps me to give me a better grip rather than a blanket. And if the mat is very thin and it's hard on the floor, that's why you need a little bit of cushioning, so it's not so hard on the crown of your head. You can just do a small variation. You can just do the half version with just the legs lifted. If you're menstruating, then don't do the pose. You can lie down and just be in Supta Baddhakonasana. So here I press my elbows down, extend your forearms, extend your fingers, bring the clasp in. It's nice that we can use the edge of our mat to line up our elbows, so we know that the elbows are not going anywhere. Pressing down, you can place the crown of your head down, and you can just be here practicing this for yourself for a while as you stretch your forearms, lift the shoulders, roll. That means you rotate your upper arm from the inside to the outside, and that really keeps the shoulders in place, otherwise they go off, right? So you want to maintain those actions. And if you are happy to just to work on strengthening, you can stay here, or you can press down. You can practice lifting the knees and staying here. Again, the legs like in Adho Mukha Svanasana, thighs tight, lifting your heels and moving the hips more towards the head side. And then you can take one leg up and the other leg up, and you can come up into Sirsasana. As you're in Sirsasana, again join your big toes like in Tadasana. Try to press the forearms down, roll the inner upper arms down. See that your clasp is not too tight, but lift the shoulder blades, lift the front ribs up into the body, stretch your thighs, stretch your legs. Spread the back of your thighs, stay here. Don't let the buttock drop. Keep the extension of the spine, spreading the back of the thighs, moving the tailbone into the body. Keep pressing through the forearms, knees tight, legs extending, stretching your spine. Again, you're a beginner, so you don't have to stay long. You can just do as much as is comfortable, and then when you feel it is time for you to come down, you also know you can do this against the wall. Keep working on the base of the pose. That's where all the answers lie, because if you keep pressing your forearms, you can continue lifting the shoulders. Also see that the grip is not too tight. It's the wrist that has to push down and the shoulder that has to lift. Now slowly from there, you can come down with your knees bent actually, that's better, and then down. Rest here for a few moments in Adho Mukha Virasana. If you find bending your knees is not possible, you can also rest in Uttanasana. Yeah, so there are any ways to do the rest. Some people might not be possible to bend the knees, so you can be like this. Allow the head to quieten, the shoulders to. Okay, so I've got ready with my props for Salamba Sarvangasana. So I keep my belt ready as well today. So let's go down. Do all the adjustments. Make sure your head is well placed, your shoulders are well tucked in. And then you can press the hands. I can also show you another way of doing the pose. You can press your feet into the support, lift your hips up and put the belt. So first I take the belt all the way up to the upper arms, and then I really roll. So the outer shoulders go down,
I stretch my forearms. Again, I roll the outer shoulders down. And so then once I'm down in the pose, I've got the upper arms fixed. Yeah, so then you can lower your hips down so the arms are already fixed. Then you can bend your knees and take your legs back. So the belt is fixed in a way that's easy for you to manage. Then once you've rotated, again get the shoulders in. From here you can place your hand on your back. See that it goes quite low on your shoulder blades. The belt helps us, and then bring your legs in, stretch your legs up one at a time and come up into Salamba Sarvangasana. Here too the hands can, as you stay longer in the pose, it becomes easier to lift the back. You have to stretch your legs a lot in this pose, because if you don't stretch the legs, you can see how the back is collapsing. Yeah, so it might feel comfortable to be in this position, but it's not good for your back first, and secondly it doesn't really teach your spine to become strong, right? So you really have to stretch your legs a lot to lift your spine. And remember not to bring your legs forward. This pushes the weight on the throat and the chest. Try to bring your thighs back so your weight is heavier on the elbows, and keep the buttocks in. Straighten your knees and keep working on the pose. And again, when you're starting out, if you find that after a while your pose is collapsing and you're kind of falling into the pose, it's better to come out of the posture, do short periods and get better, than to just stay in a pose which is collapsing. So let's keep stretching our legs, buttocks in, spreading the back of the legs, extending your lower leg, stretching the legs, lifting your spine. Keep the weight on the heels, on the elbows. Press your upper arm to lift your shoulder blades in. Knees firm. Now slowly from here you can move one leg at a time and come down to Halasana. You can keep the belt, keep your legs straight, knees lifting, outer hips lifting, shoulder blades in. Stay in the pose, keep your legs firm. And now this is a time to also maybe take the belt out. And then you can do Karnapindasana. Bring your knees close to the ears. And then from here, use your hands on your back and slowly come out and just be there quiet for a few moments. And then you can gently roll to the side and come up. Our next pose is Supta Padangustasana 1 and 2. So I'm going to move all these props away. All we'll need is a belt. I'll also keep a bolster close by and a blanket, because in our final two more poses after that, which is Paschimottanasana and Janu Sirsasana, so I will need that. But I really don't need most of the blankets, so I'm going to move them out. So we are going to do Supta Padangustasana 1 and 2. So you will need a belt. There are many ways we can use the belt. I'm going to show you one version which helps me. So this should be a yoga belt which you should be able to open up as a loop. So lay down first in Supta Tarasana. So be with knees bent. First go down. See that you have taken the outer shoulders down, moving the shoulder blades into the back. Hold the side edges of the mat, really opening the chest, keeping the the back of the neck extending, head down. If your chin is up and you have a tight neck and shoulders, please use a blanket. Then slowly stretch your legs straight out, so your legs are straight in Tarasana. It's same Dandasana action of the legs. You have to firmly press the frontal thigh bones down. Now first, I'm going to show you on the right side so you can follow along listening to the instructions, or if it's something you haven't done before, then just pause the video, watch the demonstration, and then you can again replay it and join back and do it with me. So it's your choice. And if you're someone who knows the pose, then you can just simply follow the instructions and do it. You probably don't need the visuals. So keeping your left leg straight, bend your right knee, place the belt on the bottom of your arch of the right foot. I created a loop like this so I can slip my fingers into the belt, and then I stretch my leg straight. Again, the leg is not coming in with the knees bent. It stays in line with the hip. It's a question of really moving the thigh back, spreading the back of your thigh, stretching your calf muscle, and also the leg which is on the floor plays an important role. The thigh should roll in, the inner knee should go down, and the calf muscles should stretch. So you stay here holding the belt, keeping the chest open, opening through the bottom of the feet. Supta Padangustasana 1. For Supta Padangustasana 2, again, the whole thigh has to stay back into the hip, so it goes down and into the body. Then you can put the one hand into both these loops. If you do a coil like this and keep the arm, shoulder pulling down, take the left hand on the side to balance it yourself. Keep the left thigh firm. The outer hips remain. This hip is not what is moving, it's the whole leg that is moving, right? So you have to keep your outer hip lifted. You have to see that your foot, that's like a brake, this whole leg. It stays like a brake, and then you stretch from the inner leg. Yeah, so you go down, opening the bottom of the foot, look straight. Be quite conscious of this left thigh, left inner thigh down. If you feel your left hip is moving, then maybe you've gone too far, because then you're moving from the hip. So I readjust again. I keep my sacrum extending down, and I'm working on opening my legs, hip, through stretching the leg. Now inhale and come up, and then we do the other side. So then you can observe how the standing leg, as in if you were standing and doing this pose, because there is a Utthita Padangustasana, and here we are doing Supta Padangustasana. So the right thigh stays heavy, pressing down. I put the belt around the bottom of my left foot, the arch, and I keep this in Tarasana, keeping the right outer thigh in, frontal thigh down, foot stretching, and then I lift my left leg up. And again, don't pull the left leg. You want to see that the front thigh touches the hamstring muscle, the back of the knees open, and you're lengthening the leg bones long as you stay in the pose. Keep your right outer hip in, extend your right inner leg, pressing the right thigh down. And chin up, chest up, opening the chest. And then from 1 we go to 2. So again, use the belt, place your hand flat, using it as a leverage. The hip should not move. It's like it's a heavy weight. This stays as you take it to the side. And again, going as far as possible, not pulling the leg, extending the leg from the hip, looking straight. If the tendency of the chest to turn, you have to kind of resist the opposite side of the body, not to let it go along. Turning from the left side of the chest to the right, but moving the left leg to the left. Press your right hand down, right shoulder down. Now inhale and come up. And then bend your legs, take the belt out, straightening your legs. You can bend your legs, roll to the side, and come up. Now we are going to do Paschimottanasana and Janu Sirsasana. So you can take whatever height you need. For now, I'm going to use the bolster for my headrest. So I'm going to just get a bolster. You can use the belt, you can sit higher on a prop. But since we are doing these poses at the end of the class, that means both Paschimottanasana and Janu Sirsasana is to quieten your mind and quieten the brain so that you can go into Shavasana with ease. So starting out with Paschimottanasana, I keep my bolster kind of handy in front, and then legs in Dandasana, lift up, lift the waistline, lift the chest, keeping the front body long, extend, go forward. As I said, you can adjust the bolster to whatever height you need to stay here. Don't round your back. You want to stay in such a way that your legs are straight and your back ribs stay in. The front of the abdomen soft. Back of the thighs moving down. If you can maintain this and you can still go down, then you may go down. What's important in this pose is to continue the legs to work, to spread the back of your body, and to see that your abdomen is not shrinking back. It is coming forward as your thighs are going down to the floor. Now inhale and come up. Janu Sirsasana, right leg bends. Keep the heel in line with your right inner groin, moving the right knee back, but turning from the right pelvis, turning from the right waistline as you go forward. Remember to keep the knee moving in the opposite direction, outward and back, but the abdomen is turning as you are going down. Again, this depends on your mobility. You can come higher, you can stay lower, be in Janu Sirsasana. Now inhale and come up. And now let's change. Left leg bends, left heel close to the groin. Don't let the foot go underneath your right thigh. Keep your right leg straight. Keep descending the thigh down. Try to open the back of the knee, making the right leg really straight, stretching your right leg long. And again, as you turn, you have to keep your left knee back, left waistline turning to the right as you come forward, and your abdomen is more in line with your right thigh. Dorsal in, moving the spine in, go forward, and let your head go down. Yeah, so again, you may use whatever height is necessary for you. Just see that you're able to stay in the pose with your legs straight. Your head may rest. Keep the sides of your body long. Abdomen moving forward. Right leg very straight. Keep the weight on the inner right knee. It tends to fall on the outer right hip. Now inhale and come up. One more Paschimottanasana. Both legs straight, extending through the legs. Reach up, stretch up. Take a deep inhale, exhalation, going down. Paschimottanasana. Now inhale and come up. And then finally, we go for Shavasana. So again, before you do Shavasana, remember to set yourself up quite on the center of your mat, equal on the right and the left. Start always with your knees bent as you use your hands, extending the sacrum, making sure you adjust your head as needed, lifting the back of the head, keeping the back of the head long, taking your attention to the outer shoulders, pinning them down, keeping the palms relaxed. Really turn your whole upper arm so the outer shoulder goes down. The thumb side of the hand should be more down. So it's a relaxation here, the armpits are open. Otherwise we stay like this and we still register tension in our body. So really drawing the shoulder blades in, turning the arms is good. Then do a little check to see that your head is not tilting to one side. Keeping the shoulder blades in, eyes still open, sacrum extending. Slowly, one leg at a time, stretch your leg without lifting your feet. And that way you'll have the right distance between your legs. And now surrender into the floor completely. We start to make the back of the head heavy, let the head rest, make your upper arms heavy. Completely let go of the right leg from the thigh to the knee, ankle, all the way to the foot. Let go of the left leg from the thigh, knee, ankle to the foot. Take your attention to your right shoulder. Make your right upper arm heavy on the floor. Make the center of your right palm heavy, the fingers soft. Similarly, go to the left upper arm. Let it sink down towards the floor. Let the center of your left hand also become heavy. Stay quiet, soft breath, normal inhale and normal exhale. Letting go completely. Now slowly begin to take another deep, slow, long inhale and exhale. Gently bring your right hand, your left hand back on your abdomen. Softly begin to open your eyes, bending your right knee, your left knee. Move the right arm in front so that you can turn yourself to the side. Bending the right arm, staying there quiet for a few moments. And then use your left hand, press into the floor. Keep turning as you slowly come up. And now let's sit together for a moment. Bring your hands at the center of the chest. Take a deep, slow breath. And thank you, and may you have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, wherever you are. And I wish you well on this journey of practicing yoga. Thank you.